Hello everyone, this is Joel with the Canine Academy Online, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about making life your training field. Alright, so if you've gone through all 12 modules, you have developed your dog to the point where you can do a lot of different things with them. And a lot of our future videos for you guys are going to continue to build upon these things. But in the meantime, some of you guys are going, well, what do I do next? What do I do from here? How can I continue to develop my dog? Well, one thing that is extremely useful and helpful, but that a lot of people neglect, is making life their training field. All right, so we're going to go through and just show you guys kind of a couple of examples of things that we use or that I've been using around here, and then I'll talk to you a little bit at the end about things that I've used in the past, so you guys have some idea of things that you can kind of start doing, start looking for, and start moving around. So here we have an ATV, a little side-by-side here, and we're going to be doing some work with this initially, but we have a platform, basically, in the back of this that, number one, I can start getting my dog used to. So Ratchet, hup. Good, hup. Okay, now I can either let him ride in the back here, or I can let him ride in the front with me. So let's take a look at how I would train my dog to get in and out of an ATV like this. Alright, so when I want my dog to get in and out of any vehicle, whether it's my van, my truck, my car, an ATV, we use the command load up. So I tell my dogs to load up, and I usually kind of point to where I want them to go when I say load up, and then they're to load up. Now, some dogs, especially with an ATV, if they're not familiar with them yet, cars tend to be more quiet, more smooth, all of that kind of stuff. ATVs can be a little bit more loud. There's a little bit more scent from the engine running and stuff like that. And they can be a little bit more kind of shaky when they move and stuff like that. So sometimes they'll be a little bit more stressful to the dogs. And I personally don't like to go around to the passenger side and load my dog in the passenger side and then walk back around over here to the driver's side, unless the way that it's set up would require that. It's much easier and faster for me as I'm moving around my daily life to tell my dog to load. They jump kind of up into my seat and all the way across into their seat, and then we get ready to go. So we're going to do this a couple times with Ratchet just so you can see. He in general likes riding in the ATV, but he's only done it a couple times. So there's still a little bit of stress, and he kind of wants to stay in my seat because that's where most of the my scent is, rather than jumping all the way over to his seat. So we'll work this for just a second so you can kind of see how we would do some of these exercises. And this just becomes part of our daily life. I don't stop and spend a lot of time on it most days. I spend, maybe 30 seconds, and then we hit the road and we go. All right, so here's what we would do. Foos, turn, load up. Good load. Now what I want him to do, and let me bring the camera around here. All right, so you can see he's jumped all the way over to the passenger seat, and that's what I want him to do. What I want to be able to do, though, is to do this totally off lead. Me and Ratchet do a lot of moving around off lead, and for me to have to use the lead every time to get him to go into his place can be a little bit cumbersome. So I'm using the lead right now, but let's go. And he always likes to come out my side. And then with almost no lead direction, I'm just going to say, Ratchet, load up. Okay, good load. And you can see he's starting to get used to this vehicle already. If he was just coming into my seat and staying there, or sometimes he'll jump into the floor and just stay there, there's two things that you can do. One is I can use my lead and just kind of, I'll choke up close to the collar, and I'll just kind of bump them into their position, say go on, go on, go on, until they get into their position, giving a bump with each one. And then once they're over in their spot, I'll say good place, okay? Because this is another way that the place command is used. He's in his place in this vehicle. The other thing I can do is, if using my lead and kind of just giving some decent lead direction as they jump to get them to go all the way over to the other side doesn't work, I can tell them to load up and let them just jump wherever they're going to jump, take the excess of my lead, toss it to the other side, walk around, and then tell them go to your place, and then I can draw them to me over into their seat for place, put them in their place, tell them good place, to blipe, to stay in their position, and then I can walk back around here and load up. So those are the two things that I'll do. The little netting on that side doesn't clip in, the seatbelt clip doesn't work very well on this particular one. So it's tied in place right now, so that for me is very inconvenient. That's why I like the dog just to be able to jump in and out just like this. And then at this point, we're ready to go on patrol. Now another thing you can do is find kind of randomized places. This is not really a construction site. They're building a couple things here, so there's a little bit of stuff around. There's some dirt hills and things like that that we use from time to time. But Ratchet, easy, let's go. Okay, so he's been riding with me in the ATV seats. And when we get to places like this, if I'm gonna be here for a few minutes doing some stuff, I might walk him over to something like this. Good flex. And just have him lay there and wait while I do some things. I move around, I do whatever it is I need to do. And then whenever I'm done and I look around and go, okay, I don't need to be here anymore, it's time to go, I can go, Ratchet, let's go. Load up. Good load. So another thing we can do as we're moving around is if we find natural obstacles, we can go ahead, jump up, do a few things on them, work the dogs on them for a few minutes, and then move on with our day. So each of you guys out there have your own variations in life and what your day-to-day looks like and what your free time and your recreational time looks like. But one of the things that we try to do as we move around with our dogs is we find things for them to do that are a little bit challenging, a little bit fun for them and us, and just kind of keep life in general exciting. Now, a couple things that I typically will look for. I love big rocks or things that they can jump up onto, as long as it's okay for them to do that. Like, don't jump them up onto a monument or a statue or something like that, unless it's okay. The other things that we'll look for as we hike around in the woods are either fallen logs or trees that are at like a slight angle that have been blown over maybe or something like that, but they're still alive that the dogs can walk up. We look for deadfall logs, things they can jump over, things they can jump up on and walk back and forth. Logs across streams and riverbeds and things like that are great. Anytime you can expose your dog to stairs that are the metal grate kind of stairs where you can see through them, those are awesome because the dog recognizes they're way up off the ground, but they're on these stairs, so they're totally different than like a stairwell in your house or something like that. Those are great things to expose the dogs to. I had a place where I lived in Missouri where there was a rock boulder kind of a pile around that we used to go out and work on all the time. Things like the logging areas that you've seen us work on. All of these types of things are things that we look for. And remember, any of those things that you do at your own risk. I'm not recommending that you do anything specific, but just keep your eyes open for various different things that you could do with your dogs, using your vehicle, using your daily life, and just keep maneuvering, keep moving forward, keep working, keep creating new ideas in your mind that you could do with your dog, and that is how you make your life your training field.